like no Honda you've ever seen.
Just about ready to go here in St. Petersburg, Florida for the final game of this 3-game series between the Blue Jays and the Tampa Bay Rays, whose starter, although they're calling it again the opener today because he's a reliever, he's only going to go a couple of innings. It is Wilmer Font, and if that name sounds familiar, he was in Oakland A just a couple of weeks ago and pitched against the Blue Jays. So John Gibbons, Mike Mordecai, and the rest of the Jays are familiar with Font, who's actually with his third team already this season. Let's take a look at the Blue Jay lineup. Gibby mixing it up a little bit. You heard talk of that on Blue Jay Central with Justin Smoke up to the 2 spot. Russell Martin got the night off last night, back in the lineup here today. And Randall Grichuk has a 6-game hitting streak after picking up a hit yesterday, and it's a pretty good one, 10 for 24 with 4 extra base hits. Blue Jays, though, have only scored 5 runs in the first 2 games of this series.
They get Wilmer Font this afternoon, like you were saying. 3 different teams already this season, the Dodgers, the Athletics, and the Rays. He made his first career start in the majors in that last start on Friday versus Seattle. Finished with a career-high strikeouts with 5 of them. Retired the first 6 batters on 15 pitches. He's been battered by the long ball this season. You look at his stats, he's only thrown 25 in the 3rd innings, like you saw right there. 11, count them, 11 home runs he's given up, including one to Yonever Solarte in the only game he has pitched against them this season for the Oakland A's. He throws hard, but he'll give up his share of home runs.
And we're expecting maybe 2 to 3 innings for Font today. Here's a look at the defense behind him.
And Jake Bauers will get the start over at first base. Brad Miller was their opening day first baseman. He is now gone. Now it's Bauers over at first. He has done a good job for him defensively in this series. Came over from San Diego in an 11-player trade a few seasons ago, the largest trade in club history.
And we are underway here with the Trop with Curtis Granderson DHing. Remember back on Sunday, of course, that huge day for Granderson. A homer, 2 doubles, 6 RBIs, and a single as well.
Most RBIs in a game by a leadoff hitter all time in Blue Jay history.
Tying it. Damaso Garcia doing it back in the 80s once.
Yeah, 1985. Damo had 6 RBIs as a leadoff batter.
And in his 5 at-bats that day, probably saw about a total of 7 pitches.
Well, yeah, he'd swing it, doesn't
yeah,
he?
he didn't look at many. Much different kind of leadoff hitter than Curtis Granderson is, that's for sure. Lined into right center field. That is a solid base hit for Granderson to get the ball game started.
Love to hear that sound off the bat for Granderson. He works himself into a good fastball count and got it and didn't miss it.
So here's Justin Smoke hitting in the 2-hole for just the 2nd time this season. Smoke doing less damage with the bat, but walking much more often than he did a year ago. And you say those 2 things are connected.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why they have moved him into that number 2 hole. First of all, to give him that extra at bat, but try to get a little bit more protection behind him. And Teoscar Hernandez, the on-base percentage, very good for Smoke. So they got him in that number 2 spot.
He's up there swinging on the first pitch, and it pops one back out of play.
I mean, he has taken his walks, and he's been a patient hitter. That's always been the MO for Justin Smoke. Have good at bats. Last year, they pitched to him, and he crushed them with all those home runs. This year, he's not getting it. Look at the on-base percentage, 371.
Which, considering just a .234 batting average, 45 walks, 3rd best in the American League. The other way, and it's 0-2. Ball boy make another nice grab. He made a good one last night.
This time on the backhand into the stands. There's the walks you were talking about. Only Trout and Judge, 2 very feared hitters in the American League, leading the AL in walks.
Shift on for the Rays, and the 0-2. 96 miles an hour on that fastball from Font.
Yeah, he's got a good arm, good live fastball. He's been known to get it up there around triple digits. A little bit of a slider and a changeup, but throwing quality pitches He's been very inconsistent.
Just did not throw a quality pickoff attempt as he bounces it by Bowers at first, and that throwing error will allow Granderson to take second.
That'll be an error, the first error of this afternoon. First error by the Rays in this series.
So Granderson up to second, nobody out, top of the first. And let's see if Smoke can at least move the runner. Trying to do more than that, obviously. Here's the 1-2.
I don't know why he would try to pick off Curtis Granderson. I don't think he's going in that situation. Curtis has had count of two steal attempts all season long.
Is that just indecision on what pitch he wants to throw, man?
I don't know if he thought he was going to go or if it came from the bench, but really no chance to get him. First of all, no chance to even worry about throwing over there.
Changeup fouled off out of play, and Smoke battling by fouling off everything he's seeing right now from Font. Last night, Ryan Stanek was the so-called opener for the Rays, and he had a great couple of innings, 6 up, 6 down, 3 strikeouts, and then Kevin Cash used 5 more pitchers to finish it off, with Sergio Romo ultimately getting the save.
It had to work out perfectly for the Tampa Bay Rays during the game. There's Stanek, who's now down in the bullpen after the start yesterday, as they tried to finish off that game, getting the matchups that they wanted with the bullpen.
Smoke with a fly ball to shallow left center field, and Malik Smith runs it down for the out. Granderson can't advance.
Wilmer Font, we're told he's got a pretty darn good arm, but he has spent some time in other organizations, 3 this year. He's also been in the Rangers organization, the Reds organization. Tough to give up on an arm that throws this hard, but it's basically fastball, curveball, splitter every now and then, and a slider every now and then. For him, it's where do you throw those pitches? He's made a lot of mistakes this season with this fastball. Hence the home runs.
Here's Yangervis Solarte. And he had an 0 for 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's Teoscar Hernandez. Forgive me. Yangervis Solarte on deck for the Blue Jays. Here's Teoscar Hernandez, who had an 0 for 4 yesterday, hitting .260 with 11 home runs. A guy we've seen him leading off against lefties. We've seen him hit second. We've seen him hit third. We've seen him hit fourth. He's always up in one of those top 4 spots in the lineup.
And he's produced wherever they have put him. Extra base pop, obviously, with those 11 home runs. A whole lot of doubles. Last 6 games, he's starting to swing the bat. So to get Smoke some more pitches to hit, they flip-flopped them. Hernandez is now hitting behind Justin Smoke.
The 2-0. And a breaking ball fouled back by Hernandez, 2-1.
Look, the Blue Jays have played 18 innings here in Tampa in these 2 games offensively. 10 times in those 18 innings, they've had no more than 3 batters come to the plate. John Gibbons has to do something offensively. Mix it up. Shuffle up the lineup if you have to.
Yep.
Try to do something aggressively to start to score some runs.
3 balls and a strike. If you missed the news about Josh Donaldson, it sounds like he is getting closer. We're starting to get more concrete information now that Donaldson, on the off day tomorrow, back at the Rogers Center, was going to run the bases. And if that goes well, there is the likelihood of him playing a couple of rehab games in Buffalo and then perhaps rejoining the team. So maybe if all goes well, I mean, who knows, Tuesday against Atlanta, maybe something like that, maybe even a little bit earlier, but it depends how tomorrow goes, as Hernandez just won't chase those pitches up and out of the zone, and he'll work Font for a walk.
Josh has been able to do everything on the baseball field except sprint, except run the bases. That's the last hurdle before they can get him out there, and it's not going to take him very long to play a few games and get that batting stroke back. Heck, I'd like to see him sometime in the next series
against Washington.
Washington.
Yeah.
If he's 100%.
Here's Yangervis Solarte in the cleanup spot, and a guy who, as we mentioned, a homered off Font just a couple of weeks ago when Font was with the Athletics. Unfortunately, though, also Solarte leads the American League in grounding into double plays this year with 14. And right now, Jesus Sucre behind the plate is trying to tell Font, just calm down. Let's not try to do too much here, because his command is eluding him. And we're going to have an early mound visit from pitching coach Kyle Snyder.
4 batters into the game. They're going to use one of their mound visits right here for Font. Last time out, 2 1/3 innings. He did give up a couple of earned runs against Seattle. But this has always been his problem right here, being able to command his very good stuff. He's got a great arm.
Kevin Cash will be making moves before long, but nobody up yet. And you wouldn't even say that if it were a traditional starter, but given that Font's a reliever and the way they use pitchers, you never know how it's going to go. And that looked like a real pep talk from Snyder to Font, trying to boost his spirits a little bit. Terrible numbers with the Dodgers and the A's. Better so far, small sample size alert, but better so far with Tampa Bay. Well, you just know with 2 men on, Solarte would just love to get a fastball in the zone, something he can take a big swing at. Right on the outside corner. Good pitch there from Font. 1-1.
Yeah, we mentioned he's already taken them deep already this season. Font retired the first 2 batters that day. It was 9-0. Blue Jays were losing that game in the bottom of the 9th inning. Got the first 2 batters, then walked a batter and gave up that long home run to Solarte. He's looking for the same thing, middle in right now.
Got one kind of middle out, outer half of the plate, but plenty of the strike zone. Fouled it back 1-2. Granderson began the ball game with a base hit, took second on a throwing error charge to Font, and an out later Hernandez worked Font for a walk. Blue Jays would love to give J Happ a lead before he even strolls out to the mound today. The 1-2. Change up in the dirt, and a good job by Solarte not to chase.
They would love to get at least 2 innings from Font this afternoon. He's not really one of those 1-inning relievers that we have seen this season. Get 2 innings from him and then turn it over to Matt Andriese. They used 5 relievers in last night's game, so you got to figure they're a little short down in the pen this afternoon.
The 2-2 on the way, and it's bounced foul.
And the way he is going, he's not going to make it to 2 innings. Too many pitches.
Kevin Pillar waiting on deck for the Blue Jays. Font was a starter at AAA last year and had a very good season in the Pacific Coast League, but not stretched out that way this year. He's used to going 2 1/3, actually through 72 pitches against Houston back on May the 7th with Oakland. 72 pitches in 2 2/3. He got hit hard. 5 runs on 7 hits, but he's perfectly capable of throwing 35 or 40 pitches here today.
Yeah, last time out he threw 48, so he's stretched out, but the way he's going right now, he might do that in the first inning.
Yep. He's at 21 and he's gotten 1 out. That is a fair ball, backhanded by Bowers. Nice play, and he'll take the only out he had at first as the runners advance.
Put a star next to that one. That's why I wanted to highlight him defensively. He has been, for the most part in his career, he's played the outfield. He played 50 games last year at first base, but he's played left field, he's played right field. He's done nothing to show he can't handle it at the big league level at first base. He had some thoughts of maybe trying to get that runner at second base, but thought better and said, I better take the out.
So the end result is 2 down, and Blue Jays now at second and third. For Kevin Pillar hitting .262 with 7 homers. It's a little outside, says home plate umpire Doug Eddings. Mark Ripperger at first. The crew chief Joe West is out at second, hands on his hips. Chad Fairchild is at third. Outside again, says Doug Eddings. Ball 2. Now if you're Pilar, what do you got to key in on here?
Well, instead of looking for just a pitch, what you do, you look for a pitch in a certain area. If you're a good low ball hitter, you're going to look for that fastball down or down and in. So you're looking for both the pitch type and the pitch location.
That was the pitch, the fastball away that fought through each of the first 2 times, but he located that one a little bit better.
Much better, right on the corner with a little, what it looked like, a little cutting action on it. Now you can shorten up the swing a little bit. That was the one to get loose on. 2-0 fastball. Now cut down your swing and get a base hit.
Yeah, base hit scores 2 in this situation. 3-1 on Pilar. The Blue Jays with just 5 runs on 13 hits in the first 2 games of the series as Russell Martin waits on deck, hoping for a shot here in the top of the first. Challenged him. 3-2.
Can't let him off the hook in the first inning. Got to take advantage of the hit, the walk, and the error.
Pilar has seen nothing but fastballs so far from Font. Broken bat pop up into shallow right field, and going back to make the catch, Christian Arroyo. The Blue Jays threaten but do not score. They'll leave 2 on in scoring position as Jay Happ gets ready to go to work. Little fist pump for Wilmer Font, and attaboy, way to get out of it. 28 pitches for Font, but the Blue Jays leave a couple of men on, and here is the Rays lineup heading into this afternoon's contest. Johnny Field is in the lineup today, playing left field, batting 7th, 3 hits, all of them for extra bases against the Blue Jays so far this year. And this guy, he's just pesky. He's got great speed, and if he puts the bat on the ball, some good things can happen for the Rays.
We might see him drop a bunt down today with a left-hander on the mound. That left-hander is none other than Jay Happ. Jay, his 14th start of the season. Look at those numbers. 8-3, 371 earned run average. That 8th win was his 100th career win. That was last time out versus Baltimore. 7 innings for the 5th time this year against Baltimore. 7 innings. And did not give up an earned run.
Matt Duffy's going to lead it off for the Rays, their third baseman, hitting .314 on the season, and he's the one guy in this lineup who's got some pretty good numbers against Happ. He's 5 for 10 with a home run against Jay.
I love how Happ just goes about his business. Here's my fastball. I'm going to keep throwing it until you prove you can hit it. He has that ability to throw it on the outside part of the plate. If he needs to, he can put it on the inside. You want to go inside, and there you go. I mean, it's just a simple approach, but it's very effective.
You know, he had the one rough start against Seattle back on May the 10th, and obviously you just can't take that out of the numbers. But boy, if you did, the numbers would be even better, as Duffy won't chase upstairs. 2-2. Generally speaking, J-Happ has just been rock solid, dependable. You know what you're going to get every 5 games. And that hasn't been the case for the rotation. They had that great stretch until the last couple of days. But before that, just so much inconsistency. Here comes Grichuk to make a sliding catch out of the bullpen area.
I'm putting a star by that one because of the determination in his mind, saying, I'm going to catch this ball. I watched him as soon as it went up, and you can tell that it was going to stay out of the stands, and Grichuk said, I'm going to go catch it. Look how far he had to go. Thank goodness he didn't have to deal with that mound in the bullpen. But a nice start defensively for Randall this afternoon.
And now here's Jake Bauers, the young first baseman, just about a week into his big league career, and has been very impressive. Today, Kevin Cash has Bauers hitting second and the equally young Willy Adames hitting third.
We might see that for a few years now. These two, they're both just 22 years old. There's Adames, who's flashed a pretty good bat so far in this series. Both of these players came from other organizations, and now they find themselves at 22 years old in the starting lineup.
Speaking of young players, Tabby, the Atlanta Braves young starter Mike Soroka has come off the DL. The Calgary native is no-hitting the New York Mets through 6 innings today. He's walked 1, struck out 3. He's only thrown 66 pitches going to the 7th. And he is scheduled to face the Blue Jays at Rogers Center on Tuesday in the first game of that quick 2-game set between the Jays and the Braves.
What is he, 20 years old?
He is 20. You have shoes older than him.
I just remember where I was at 20 years old. It wasn't close to the big league.
It was close to here.
It was very close to here in the Florida State League.
You were with Tampa. The 0-2, and it's fouled back. It's not just being talented enough at that age to compete, but there's so many other things that go into just being able to handle yourself at such a young age in the major leagues.
Work ethic, putting a plan together, and then going out there and pulling it off. They have some impressive players, the Atlanta Braves, and we'll see them next week.
The Nationals are in over the weekend, Friday through Sunday, and then Atlanta for a couple of games Tuesday and Wednesday. Ozzie Albies, another one of those great young players for the Braves, as Bauers gets jammed but stays alive.
How about this at bat that Bauers is putting up against JJ? Tried to run that 2-seamer in on his hands. He's asking the umpire if that was a strike. He had to foul it off. They've tried high fastballs. Want to try something different now.
Breaking ball, but you can see where Martin's set up, and you can see where the pitch was left. That's not where Happ wanted to throw it, and Bauers hits it hard but foul.
Now a fastball away right here. A well-placed fastball away from it. Everything seems, at least the last few pitches, have been in. So now go away. Either down and away or up and away.
Up and away it was, and Bauers fouled that one off. 9 pitches. It's an 0-2 count. It's pretty impressive stuff from Bauers against a very good pitcher in Happ. That's a fair ball, and Happ can't pick it up. Tried to just pick it up with his glove, maybe then go over and apply a tag, and he never got there.
Well, let's see how they rule this one. He got way in on the kitchen of Jake Bauers, and he was in swing mode, so he was going to swing at anything. Rolls it up the first base line. It looked like Jay in one movement was going to just catch it and flip it over to first base, but he just can't corral the baseball. Actually overruns the baseball.
And it is an error charged to Happ. So Bauers aboard with one out here in the bottom of the first. Now Happ's got to regroup and face Adames. That's amazing. Happ threw 10 pitches, all of them strikes. And then his own error allows Bauers to reach.
I thought at one point, once he got him into swing mode, he'd throw one off the plate to see if he would chase it. He did. It was just right in on his thumbs.
0-2. Adames has had a good series. He's 3 for 6, same as Bauers was prior to that last at bat. Adames driving in a couple of runs in the win on Monday night. It's the 10th error committed by Blue Jay pitchers this year. That is the most in baseball. We saw one, well, 2 nights ago from John Axford. And then we saw one that was originally scored an error on Jaime Garcia in last night's game. A scoring change was announced today. As that pitch is down and in 2-2. Apparently a balk was called on the play on the throw over to first. No,
yeah,
I'm sorry. The error is still there. It takes away the stolen base.
That's right. That's correct.
Right. So instead of a stolen base and an error, it's now a balk and an error. So a Blue Jay pitcher's committed an error in all 3 games in this series. 2-2.
One of them really cost him. That was the comebacker to
John Axford.
That cost him a couple of runs on the opening night here.
Jay Happ's up to 20 pitches, and it's not because of a lack of command or anything. 16 strikes, 4 balls. Couldn't put Bauers away. Now he misses outside, a full count on Adames. Bauers getting some thoughts from the first base coach, Ozzie Timmons. C.J. Cron waiting on deck. Wouldn't be shocking to see Kevin Cash put Bauers in motion.
Yeah, this is a good time just to try to press the issue here. Stay out of the double play.
Not going. And it is strike 3 called.
He's always had this in the back of his pocket if he needs to. With 2 strikes against right-handed batters, jam him up inside. That's just a perfectly placed pitch against a batter that has never faced Jay before.
So 2 down, and now Cron, the DH, hitting .253 with 15 homers. And a strike. Man, between Doug Eddings' strike call and the small crowd in here, we can hear everything Doug Eddings is thinking and saying down there, can't we?
Echoing through.
Yes. There will be no mystery today behind the plate. One ball, one strike. Just a little bit high, he said. Oh, no, no. Abbott 24 pitches and climbing, the kind of thing, or 25, the kind of thing that could cost him an inning later on, shorten his afternoon.
He has the ability to just pump fastball after fastball, have some of those single-digit pitch innings this afternoon. And you're right, it's not because he's wild. It's just there was a long at bat against Bauers, a lot of pitches that were fouled off.
Lead at first by Bauers. No score. A very long first inning, top and bottom, with both pitchers having to throw a lot of pitches. Font through 28, Haps at 27.
Font did his over 5 batters. This is Jay's 4th batter.
2-2. A change up there that's fouled off down the right field line. But just like you give the Blue Jays credit for making Font work, I think even more so you got to give the Rays credit for making Happ work, because Happ's throwing real quality pitches. They just keep fouling them off.
That's right. I hope they have enough baseballs today. Been a lot of foul balls already.
Coming in. And out of play again. Didn't get it quite as far in as he would have liked. Got to be frustrating for a pitcher. I mean, physically a little bit tiring, I would think, to throw this many pitches in a half inning, but
sure,
also frustrating. You're showing them everything you got, and you just can't put them away.
And you're making good pitches, and they're keeping the at-bats alive. Start going in your mind, okay, what do I have in my arsenal to get outs with if they keep fouling off my best pitches?
Swing and a miss on his 30th pitch of the inning, and that's all for the Rays. No score at the end of 1.
Hit second earlier in the season, and his only career start in that spot, it was back on April 11th against the Baltimore Orioles. Now, in the other 2 games where he was in the 2-hole, he came in as a sub or a pinch hitter and did not record a hit. Now, Smoke told me that while some guys don't like moving around in the batting order, he says, well, it's not a big deal. It doesn't change the way he approaches his at-bats. He doesn't notice pitchers coming after him any differently. Smoke said the way the game is played today, Dan, lineups tend to change a lot anyway, depending on whether you've got a right-hander or a left-hander on the mound.
And again, as you said, Tabby, thank you, Hazel, when an offense is struggling, you got to do something. And you know, you can move guys in and out of the lineup. You can change the batting order. You can try to run or hit and run a little bit more. So Gibby moving Smoke up into the 2 spot today to see if that has any kind of an impact.
That happened last year, if you remember. They got off to a rough start offensively in the month of April in 2017, and that's when Jose Bautista said, hey, maybe I can go to the leadoff spot and change things up just a little bit. Seemed to work for a while. They had a very good May. But you're right, you got to try and do something. You might try and be aggressive. You can bunt more, steal more, hit and run more, try something. Bottom line is the guys have got to start producing.
Russell Martin sends a high fly ball right center field, pretty well struck and dropped. Dropped by Carlos Gomez out on the warning track, and Martin's into second base.
Sloppy so far. This should be the 3rd error already in this game. Carlos Gomez gets there, overruns it, tries to make up for it, and then it's in the glove and then out. If it is an error, and it is, that's his 3rd error already this season.
So E9 puts Martin out at second to lead off the 2nd inning. Let's see if the Blue Jays can do a better job than they did in the 1st after they had Granderson at second with nobody out. Here's Randall Grichuk, as mentioned, on a 6-game hitting streak, 10 for 24. 3 Rays infielders on the left side of the diamond with just Bowers alone on the right side. 0-2. So each pitcher has already committed an error, and now Carlos Gomez, the right fielder for the Rays. A lot of errors, a lot of pitches, but no runs yet in this game.
He's not afraid to show off his fastball. Earlier this season, when Randall was struggling, the teams were really pounding it with fastballs up. Since he has come off the disabled list, he's been able to get to that pitch now. That time they went upstairs again. He just fouled it off.
0-2. And a sweeping curveball at 75 miles an hour misses down and away. Grichuk never really steps out of the box. 1 foot comes out, right foot stays in, looks at his bat, deep breath, and then right back to work. Two and 2. 96 on the fastball, 75 on the curveball.
His first year in the big leagues, Wilmer Font, was 2012. So he's been around. He's not a young guy. He's 28 years old. He has pitched with the Rangers, the Reds organization. He's pitched in New Hampshire and Buffalo in the Blue Jays organization.
Full count on Grichuk. And that's pulled foul. Font is at 38 pitches. If you said a guy's gotten 3 outs and he's thrown 38 pitches, you would think the other team has 3 runs already.
Easily. 15 pitches in the first inning in his last start against a pretty good hitting team, the Seattle Mariners. Came back with 15 more pitches in the second inning. He was already working on his 3rd inning. Same pitch count.
Ball 4. 2 men on with a nobody out as we check in with Jamie. All right, Jamie, thank you. Soroka out of the game after 6 1/3, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, lowered his ERA to 2.57. What a return from the DL, and again scheduled to be on the mound Tuesday at Rogers Center. Calgary's Mike Soroka. Aledmus Diaz is the batter. First pitch swinging and a high fly ball to left center field. Smith is there, sets up to make the catch. Martin 2-3 steps to draw the throw, and the runners stay put. The Blue Jays are already 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position in this game. Now here's Gio Urshela batting 9th, playing 3rd today. Solarte at 2nd, Travis on the bench. Day game after a night game, and just want to be a little bit cautious with that knee. And when Urshela's been in there recently, he's done some damage. He's kind of been the king of the infield hit in recent games. He had 2 infield hits in one game against the Orioles, and then had 3 hits in another game, and 2 of those were infield hits.
His last game that he played in was at Laffer against the Orioles when they won 13-3. That's where he got those 2 infield hits. He also had a walk, and he scored 3 runs. Get it ready early. He's had a couple of balls to right field over his last few games also.
0-2. A hit, an error, and a walk in the first. An error and a walk so far here in the second. But nothing across for the Blue Jays. So look back at Martin at second, and the 1-2, and a fastball fouled it back to our right.
These types of pitchers, guys who are all over the place, you really have to zone them in. You got to take what they're going to give you, and right now he's a little bit wild. So look for the ball in one area around home plate. You don't have to go out there and start chasing things. Look for it down if you're a good low ball hitter. He'll throw one there eventually.
Do you think now, having missed twice with the slider, if you're Urshela, can you just focus entirely on a fastball here at 2-2?
No, you can't, because he might throw you a breaking ball with 2 strikes. There's a good chance he might throw you a fastball.
But you can't sell out totally.
Yeah, you can't sit on it. You got to be ready to hit it, but think he might throw you a breaking ball.
Ground ball to short, to second one, on to first in time. And the Blue Jays will come up empty again. Adames stumbling as he made the play, but did a good job to get it to Arroyo and then on to Bowers. And the Blue Jays 0 for 5 in the early going with runners in scoring position. Still no score going to the bottom of the second.
My Blue Jays members, log in to My Blue Jays and enter the code MBJ0302 to earn My Blue Jays points just for watching the broadcast. Your entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage. Your code must be entered by 4 a.m.
Thank you, Hazel. Saw some folks from Newfoundland there with their sign all the way down here in Florida to check out the Blue Jays and the Rays. And they're hoping to leave town with 1 win for the team they're rooting for after the Rays have taken the first 2. J-Happ had to work hard in the first. He threw 30 pitches in the bottom of the first. Whoa, smoked down to third, but right at Urshela for out number 1.
Looked like a little breaking ball on the inner half to a right-handed hitter, and those are the ones that get down to you quickly. Urshela gets set, reaches up, and actually catches that ball behind him. Takes away extra bases. Christian Arroyo's had a nice little series since he's been in here.
There's Carlos Gomez, who'd love to atone for that error that he committed in the top half of the inning, although it didn't cost his teams any runs. That is a fair ball, says the home plate umpire Doug Eddings. It's his call up until the ball gets to the bag. And that is out number 2, just like that. The Pitch Tracker is brought to you by Coors Light, official beer of Major League Baseball. Well, this is the best thing for J-Happ. He threw 30 pitches in the bottom of the first. He's only thrown 3 pitches to get 2 outs so far here in the bottom of the second.
And this pitch should be right down the middle, right here. Johnny Field might be taking it, knowing he's only thrown 3 pitches. Yeah, taken all the way. Jump ahead.
Fields hit a home run off halfback on May the 4th. Change up in the dirt, a ball and a strike.
He's been out of the lineup the last couple of nights because of a knee injury, sustained at that last play at the plate to end the game on Sunday
against Seattle, where he got thrown out to end the game. They tried to score him from first on a bloop that got away from the right fielder, Mitch Haniger, but Haniger recovered and threw him out. Fly ball to Pilar. 3 up, 3 down, 6 pitches. That's more like it.
Vegas took the NHL by storm this season, and now the city welcomes the game's brightest stars for the 2018 NHL Awards. Share a magical moment with the NHL Elite live from Las Vegas, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time on June 20th, right here on Sportsnet.
Thank you, Hazel. Top 3, no score, and Wilmer Font back on the mound for the Rays. You would think this would probably be his last inning. That was his 47th pitch. And he is stretched out more than your typical reliever, but not fully stretched out like a starter. And plus, Kevin Cash's MO with this system has to bring in the second guy to face the bottom half of the order. That's the plan, to let the guy they feel is better suited, maybe better stuff, harder fastball. That guy faces the top part of the order. That's Font. Matt Andriese probably, I would think, in Tabby, if not this half inning, certainly for the next inning.
Yeah, and remember, they used 5 relievers in the ball game last night.
Right.
After Stanek threw 2 innings, he put it together, 5 relievers to get through 9 innings. So he'd like his start to go a little bit longer.
How about Curtis Granderson? He's 2 for 2, 2 solid base hits to right field.
Well, that's how you mess up the theory that you leave the guy in there against the top of the order. You start getting base hits. Curtis stayed back nicely on that off-speed pitch from Font. Stayed back and ripped it into right field. Gomez, the right fielder, had to go up high to keep it in front of him.
So Granderson's got the only 2 hits in the ball game for either team right now. Here's Smoke. Hit a fly ball to center his first time up. And he takes a high strike, 0-1. Smoke now 0 for his last 17, hitting .233. And he lifts a fly ball to left field, this time up. Field just shy of the track. Granderson 4 or 5 steps towards second. Now back to first, 1 down.
Did you hear everybody yelling to Johnny Field where to throw the baseball? Granderson's been around a long time. He was going to see if he could catch the young left fielder napping on that deep fly ball to left field, but good communication by the Rays to let him know that he was tagging.
Here's Teoscar Hernandez. He walked his first time up. So the Blue Jays have now had the leadoff man on in all 3 innings today. He went around on the appeal 0-1.
Well, let's see from the side. What do you think? I don't know.
Well, that fastball can really run on him sometimes.
And as a hitter, if you're not real confident that the pitcher knows where it's going, it's tough to dig in.
Breaking ball for a strike, 1-2. Granderson began the inning with a base hit. Smoke flied out. Still no score here in the top of the 3rd of the final game of this series. And a swing and a foul tip strikes him out. 2 down.
First strikeout of the afternoon for Wilmer Fong. He's got the big arm, but he just hasn't been able to put the ball where he needs to. This time, a little cutting action. It looked like Hernandez was on it, just got underneath it. Foul tipped it, held on to by Sucre.
So the Blue Jays are now 0 for 7 with men on base in this game. Here's Solarte, grounded out his first time up. Wow. It's funny, you'd think if you look at his numbers, as you mentioned, the home runs are the big problem. Yeah. But if you didn't know his numbers and you just watched him pitch, you would say, well, clearly the walks are the problem looking at this guy. But somehow he's given up 11 home runs in 25 1/3 innings coming into this game today.
Gave up 3 home runs to Houston in 1 game. That was 2 innings worth. 2 innings, 3 home runs. Followed that up. His next outing was against Houston, and they gave up another one. That outing against the Blue Jays when Solarte took him deep, that was his last outing for Oakland before they put him on waivers.
2 balls, no strikes. And popped up. Duffy coming in from 3rd near the mound, and that's all. The Blue Jays again getting the leadoff man on, and again can't cash him in. For the Blue Jays, and he's had a terrific 2.5 months, and who knows where he's going to be, whether he's a Blue Jay or somewhere else at some point during the season. But if you project the numbers that he's got going so far, you know what, he's on pace for 20 wins again, and wins are dictated by a number of factors, some beyond the pitcher's control, but he's given the Blue Jays a consistent 6 innings each time out. He'd probably like to get a little bit deeper into games even than he's getting, and a very respectable 3.71 ERA. If you look at things like hits per 9 innings, base runners per 9 innings, very comparable to the year that he had 2 years ago. And the strikeout numbers are the highest, strikeouts per 9, the highest of his career right now.
You know what? He, for me, is pitching a lot better this year than he did when he won 20 games. You know why? He was getting a ton of runs that season. He's doing it this year. He's winning games without the type of run production he was getting to work with back then. I'm sure you've seen this already, Dan, but since the start of 2016, in the American League among starters, there's only one starter who has won more games than Jay Happ. Can you name him?
Chris Sale?
No, he's not even in the top 5.
Really?
He pitches in Cleveland.
Oh, Corey Kluber.
Corey
That's pretty
Kluber.
good.
He's the only pitcher, starting pitcher, with more wins than Jay Happ. So you got to put him, I think. The other ones on that list, Kluber, Happ, Carrasco, Verlander, and Tanaka, you got to put him in the class of the American League the way he has pitched over the last 3 seasons.
And that's why you just know that other teams are interested in Jay Happ. With the Blue Jays struggling, and you know there aren't that many really good starting pitchers on teams that are out of it or appear to be out of it. You see some scouts, you see the telltale signs of the clipboards and the pens and the good seats behind the plate, and a lot of teams are looking at Jay Happ, and he is, if the Blue Jays are going to be trading guys and rebuilding for the future, that guy right now is the #1 trade chip they have.
He would bring a lot back too, and I'll tell you, he can pitch for anybody. If there are teams that are looking at him who have a chance to go to the postseason, he can pitch for any of them. You put him in any scenario, the National League, you put him in the American League, you put him in a small ballpark, a big ballpark, doesn't matter.
If you can pitch in this division, you can pitch in any division.
Absolutely. And he has shown over the last 3 years he can pitch in this division.
Malik Smith hugs the line, stays fair, and he's retired for the first out. Meanwhile, now there is activity in the Rays pen, so it looks like either right to start the top of the 4th or shortly thereafter, Matt Andriese will be coming into the game for the Rays.
He doesn't look like he's getting loose to start the inning, does he? He just got up when Smith, the batter, went to the plate. It's almost like, okay, get warm, and we're going to get fought to a pitch count before you come in.
Number 9 hitter is the backup catcher who's getting a start today in place of Wilson Ramos. This is Jesus Sucre, hitting just .206. There's a good changeup. Boy, he located that one really well, and it's 0-2.
He can sink that ball. In fact, he's got a lot of strikeouts with that sinker this season. 24 of them.
When you watch Happ on the mound, as Pete Walker does, you can't tell if he's 5 runs up, 5 runs down, if it's going great or if he's laboring a little bit. The expression never changes out there as he gets a ground ball down to third. Urshela across to smoke. Sucre retired 2 down, and that's once through the order. And the only man to reach base was Bowers, who reached on an error committed by Happ himself. That's it.
Such a pro. I mean, he goes out there. You should see him work in between starts. And I'm not talking about his side sessions or anything like that. I'm talking about the work that he does to prepare for his next start. Lifting weights, doing stuff for his legs and for his arms and for his ability to go out there in endurance to push through all of these types of starts.
35 years old and as good as he's ever been. And when you start to look at starting pitchers who could be on the market, you know, with the Mets struggling, people wonder, would they trade DeGrom? Would they trade Syndergaard and really go into a full rebuild mode? If those guys are not on the market, I don't know that there's anybody out there better than Jay Happ.
I can't think of any. that we have heard.
You hear Cole Hamels' name, you hear Patrick Corbin's name a little bit.
I think it goes to team needs.
Yeah.
You know, if a starter wants a left-handed, if a team wants a left-handed starter, I don't think you can go wrong with Jay. Depends on what he wants to do too.
Ball 4. 2-out walk issued to Duffy. Well, one way or another, unless Jay Happ wants to sign an extension here or somewhere else if he were traded one way or another, he's a free agent at the end of the season if he wants to be. And he can do whatever he wants then.
Well, that's the beauty of it. The situation that he is in and that the Blue Jays are in, he is a free agent. Blue Jays can make an offer and try and sign him to an extension and keep him here if he wants to do that. If he wants to explore the free agent waters, that's fine. If a team wants to trade for him, he might be a 2 or 3 month rental, which might be okay for them.
Jake Bauers, who really battled Happ, and it was Bauers who put the ball in play and reached on that Happ error. I think it was an 11 pitch at bat. And I don't think there was ever even a ball one. I think it was 0-2 in 10 pitches, and then
0-2 for 9 more pitches. Even the balls that were off the plate, somehow he was able to foul them off.
One ball, 2 strikes.
It's so free and easy, isn't it, that fastball? Free and easy, and it just explodes to the plate.
Sometimes you watch it and you go, wow, and then it says 91, but it looks harder than that, whether it's spin rate and it maintains its velocity better. Or
watch the reaction of the hitters when they take it. They're surprised.
Bluffing a start at first was Duffy. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Bauers. Not the worst move if you're the Rays to consider putting something on when you're dealing with a guy as proficient at his craft as Happ is. Here comes as you can see, the 20th pitch of this half inning after a very long first and a very short second. And here we go again.
When you get him into swing mode, meaning that he's ready to swing the bat. As soon as he raises his arm, Jay Happ raises his arm, he's swinging the bat. Throw something off the plate. See if he will chase.
And a base hit into right field. Up to second goes Duffy. The intent was to throw it off the plate. You can see where Russell Martin set up, and Happ left it down the middle.
And it was up, and that's one thing that we've noticed about this kid. He's got good plate coverage and he can handle the high pitch. You can see Russell off the plate. It's up and out over the plate. And he rips it. Watch him stay right in on a left-handed pitcher. Pretty good mechanics for a young hitter.
Boy, if I'm the Rays, just in the little time we've seen this guy, if I'm the Rays, I'm pretty excited about what I've got here. Here's Adames, called out on strikes his first time up. Fastball inside corner, 0-1. So after Happ got the first couple of outs, a walk and then a base hit. Happ picked up career win number 100 his last time out in that game against the Baltimore Orioles. Went 7 innings, gave up just 1 unearned run on 2 hits 5 days ago. And Adames is going to need a new bat. One of the most impressive numbers, and there are many about Jay Happ, is the strikeout to walk ratio, including today. and because it makes the math easier, he's now got 92 strikeouts and 23 walks. So he's got a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Amazing. There was a time in his career where it was 2-to-1, where he would walk just as many as he would strike out, but he has really rectified that situation.
.25 pitches and counting here in the top of the third. And that's strike 3 called, says Doug Eddings. A little breaking ball into the knees to get Adames for the second time. And it's scoreless at the end of 3.
One of the keys to his turnaround of late offensively, he's in a better place mentally, and he traces his newfound mental approach back to that series finale in Detroit, a game in which he doubled and homered in. Grichuk remembers that game. He just allowed his mind to take a step back and to relax. He was able to free his mind up at the plate, and according to Grichuk, that's why you were seeing some pretty good results in the series against the Orioles. Sticking with that mindset, Dan, has improved his level of confidence, and he's finding that he's not overthinking things, especially when it comes to what the pitchers are trying to do to him.
Well, if you think about it, if you're an overthinker, an overanalyzer, plus you've come to a new team and you're trying to impress your new teammates, plus you suffered 2 injuries in spring training, so you didn't get many reps at all in spring training. It's kind of a recipe to struggle early. And the Blue Jays just hoping the Grichuk they have seen recently is the Grichuk they're going to continue to see, as Pilar will be retired on a first pitch fly ball to right.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Dan Shulman, Pat Tabler, and Hazel May with you here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Hot outside the last couple of days. Of course, we're here inside the Dome, Tropicana Field. No score in the 4th inning. The Blue Jays just trying to salvage the final game of this series. Russell Martin is the batter. And a fly ball to deep right field his first time up. Carlos Gomez ran back, almost overran it, twisting and turning a bit. In and out of his glove, dropped on the warning track for a 2-base error. This is the first inning where the Blue Jays haven't had the leadoff man on. As Font, up over 60 pitches now, jumps out in front of Martin. No balls, 2 strikes, with Andriese continuing to warm, and he just threw one past the catcher down the line. And time is going to be called. You don't see this much anymore. We talked about it. Only 3 parks in baseball still have the bullpens down the line, and that'll happen every now and again. Ball will get away.
Ball got away.
Yeah.
Tim Leeper had to leave the first base coach's box to get the ball. Russell's 2-base error opened up the 2nd inning, but he could only get as far as 3rd base. Clutch hitting. They have missed it the last 2 nights here in Atlanta, or excuse me, in Tampa Bay. I got Atlanta on my mind because they're coming to town. And I heard Jose Bautista's playing 2nd base today.
That's right. He pinch hit and then stayed in the game at 2nd for the Mets. Freddie Freeman has just homered, his third consecutive game with a homer. And the Braves lead the Mets 2-0 as that game goes to the top of the ninth. The Mets just aren't hitting at all. Jacob deGrom today went 7 innings, gave up a run on 7 hits, lowered his ERA to 1.55 on the season. 14 starts, he's got a 1.55 ERA. And he's 4-1. 3-2. And Martin draws a walk. Kevin Cash just pointed down to the bullpen as if to say, is he ready? The answer was yes, and here he comes, and that'll be the call. So Font gives them 3 1/3 shutout innings. A lot of base runners, but kept the Blue Jays from scoring. Guy at first, of course, is his responsibility, but the Rays will go to the bullpen now as Matt Andriese is on his way in. Randall Grichuk looking for some info.
A traditional starter. He's had 44 relief appearances in his career, 46 starts in his career. Fastball with some nice cutting action on it. He's got a splitter, curveball, and a changeup. More of a repertoire that you'll see from a natural starter. So Andriese will pick it up here in the 4th inning. Those are his numbers this season.
The Blue Jays have a runner at first. Russell Martin, one down here in the top of the 4th. No score in the game.
And when he is on, Andriese gets his share of ground ball outs. Perfect time to bring him in with a runner at first.
And Grichuk waves at a breaking ball, 0-1. Reached on a walk his first time up. Whole right side of the field is open right now with Bowers holding on to Martin and the other 3 infielders on the left side of second base. Saw Ledimus Diaz bounce one through the right side for a base hit in this kind of a situation last night. Catches the outside corner, 1-2. Andriese has spent his entire big league career with Tampa Bay. Made his major league debut with the Rays back in 2015. Has been both a starter and a reliever at various points of his career. 4.26 career ERA in 90 appearances.
He's had 10 games against Blue Jays, 5 of them as starter.
Ooh.
That'll help.
Yep. No throw down to second. Martin in with a head first slide on the wild pitch. So once again, the Blue Jays with a runner in scoring position. And 2 Tampa Bay errors, a wild pitch, and 3 walks. The Rays are trying to help the Blue Jays get out of this struggle here. They haven't come up with a hit yet, and they won't come up with them right here as Andriese strikes out Grichuk, 2 down.
That's that natural cutting type of fastball that he has. Tough to pick up the spin on it. That's why you'll see his strikeouts with it. It's not really a natural type of slider, but he's got good movement. It looks like a fastball.
So 2 down here in the top of the 4th, and now here is Diaz, the shortstop, with a fly ball to center field, his first time up. Starts up with a slider, but he misses low. Ball 1. Blue Jays now 0 for 6 in the game with the runners in scoring position. Just 3 for 18 in the series. Man, you just feel for this guy.
He fouled one off his back knee the other day.
Yeah.
And this one looked like it went right off the top of his foot.
Remember, he had the left ankle injury that sent him to the DL. Came back a couple of weeks ago from that, and he just has been banged up time after time from one thing or another this year.
And that happened right here in this ballpark where he hit the base a little awkwardly, and it was the left ankle, and that's where it looks like this ball went right off of his foot. Anytime you see a player throw the bat down and go down like he does right here, watch him what he does with the bat. I mean, he throws that thing down because it's hurting. Let's hope that he can continue, because the Blue Jays are down to really one infielder, Devin Travis.
Got Travis on the bench today.
Russell Martin can play all over the infield if they want to move him out of the catching spot. I tell you right now, you just want to walk around to try and get some feeling back down in your foot.
Just no pad, no protection at all, nothing there. And whether it was the inside or the front, tough to tell. Devin Travis is getting ready just in case Diaz can't stay in the game. Looks like he's going to try.
If you've never had that done to you, you can't, you have no idea how much it hurts. But it feels like somebody taking a sledgehammer, literally, and hitting you in the ankle. That's what it feels like.
And after you see it, kind of amazing that he stays in the game. If he has to leg out a ground ball here on a close play, it's
that's no fun.
Yeah, it's not going to feel too good either.
You know what makes it feel better? A base hit. You get a base hit and an RBI.
How about one over the fence where you can jog around?
Then you can jog. Then you really feel good.
One. Inside, 2-1. Martin out at second, 2 down, no score, top 4, and Diaz trying to deal with the pain and help give his team the lead here in the 4th inning. Did not go. 3 balls and a strike. And even that's a test of the ankle, right? The way you start your swing and then put the brakes on.
And his momentum, you start to get out on that front foot when you start your swing, and it takes a lot of the body weight, if you will. He's an excellent fastball hitter. Let's see if they challenge him with a fastball.
Pulled foul. And a full count now on Diaz. That kid's had a busy 3 days down there.
It's looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody has signed him.
Aaron Sanchez sitting down there. So 2 down, a runner at second. Andriese working at a very deliberate pace. Diaz waiting. And the 3-2 on the way, and it's inside ball 4. That'll bring Urshela to the plate. Boy, at some point the Blue Jays are going to have to take advantage of some of this, or they're going to wind up wondering what could have been.
Yeah, that's when it comes back to bite you in those 1-run games. They've left 2 runners on in the first inning, 1 more in the second, 1 more in the third. And they are giving them opportunities with the walks and the errors.
Yep. Only 2 hits for the Blue Jays, and Curtis Granderson has both of them. But men on base constantly. Sucre now trying to encourage Andriese. That's what we were talking about. 3 for 18 for the Blue Jays in this series. Sometimes you don't have to hit that much. If you can just string them together or get a couple of key moments, that can be the difference between a win and a loss. That's something the Blue Jays were doing really well the first couple of weeks of the season when they started 12-5, stringing hits together. But the runners in scoring position numbers have gone dry for the most part since. And it looks like that's going to continue. 0 for 7 today with the runners in scoring position, and they've left 6 men on through the first 4 innings.
Dad the gift of baseball with MLB.tv. Watch baseball live or on demand on his favorite supported devices. Save 50% now through Father's Day. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Bottom of the 4th inning, no score between the Rays and the Blue Jays here with the Trop. And look at Jay Happ's afternoon so far. 30 pitches in the first, just 6 in the second. But then had to throw 23 in the third. He's only given up 1 hit. He's only walked 1. But give the Rays a lot of credit for at least making him work by fouling off a ton of pitches, especially back in the first inning. C.J. Cron leads off the 4th.
I wonder if that is their game plan. You know, they know that Happ's going to be around the plate, that he's going to be throwing a lot of fastballs, foul off some of those things, get that pitch count up, and get him out of here when he reaches 100. We have known teams to do that in the past. You know, those tough pitches, and he's thrown some tough pitches to some of these hitters, but they've been able to foul it off.
Strike 3 called. Look at the location of those 3 pitches.
Take on any project with Home Hardware. Proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Here's how.
Back here in St. Petersburg, Florida, along with Pat Tabler, I'm Dan Schulman. No score, bottom of the 4th inning. Christian Arroyo is the batter. And the 3 pitches that Happ threw to Crone, all down around the knees, 2 of them near the outside corner, 1 on the inside corner. First pitch to Arroyo, right at the knees. Now Martin wants him to come up and in with a fastball, which is such a good pitch for Happ as well, but he ran that one inside.
There was times his last few starts where he was taking the right-handers and just working everything away. And felt like they were cheating to that fastball, getting to the inside part of the fastball. They picked up on it. So he crossed up the opposition by just pounding that fastball away. That's something 5 years ago you couldn't say Jay Happ could do.
Driven to right field. Grichuk's got it up against the fence. Second terrific play out in right field today by Randall Grichuk.
Since he has come off the disabled list, the Blue Jays outfield defense has been that much better. Teoscar Hernandez can go over to left field, where he seems to be a little bit more comfortable. And Grichuk, a former center fielder who can cover a lot of ground, tracks this one, knows exactly where he is on the field, where that wall is. He took one quick look to see where it was and then hauls it in. You know, it's amazing when you get good outfield play. And I'm not talking about just making great catches. I'm talking about covering ground and cutting the ball off, making good throws to the infield. It just gives the pitcher that much more confidence.
And right now this group, all 3 of them have the speed to cover ground. All 3 of them have good arms, have strong arms. You know, Hernandez has had some moments out of the outfield. We've all seen them this year, but the last 5 or 6 days, much better for Teoscar out and left. Cutting off balls both to his right and to his left, making very good throws. Obviously, Kevin Pillar's defensive resume speaks for itself, and Grichuk is a very good outfielder. Backhanded by Diaz. Remember the bad ankle. How about that? Another good defensive play. Got to be stinging a little bit on the inside, but Diaz making a very strong play in the hole at short to get a guy who still runs pretty well in Carlos Gomez. So Jay Happ getting some good defense behind him here in the bottom of the 4th, and it is still scoreless. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Will climb their way into history. WWE Money in the Bank. The action gets underway Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time on WWE Network.
Thank you, Hazel. Top 5. Top of the order, Curtis Granderson, who's got a couple of base hits. Those are the only 2 hits the Blue Jays have so far. The Rays only have 1 in this scoreless game. Granderson both solid singles to right field.
3rd time through, although it's just the 1st time through for Matt Andriese of the top of the order. But the 3rd time that the top of the order is hitting. Had a good feeling, though. Blue Jays have had, at times, their way with Matt Andriese.
After Granderson, Smoke, who's hitting in the 2 spot today, and then Hernandez. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error for the Jays. No runs, 1 hit, 2 errors for the Rays. A breaking ball there, swing and a miss, 2-2. Granderson choking up just a bit more once he gets into a 2-strike count. Although does it more against a harder thrower than a guy like Andriese. How about his day? Curtis Granderson staying hot. Lines one into right center. And hustling it back into the infield is Gomez. Granderson 3 for 3 on the afternoon. Time now for a message from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, in theaters June 22nd.
So Granderson, who had that monster day on Sunday, and then last night went 1 for 2, and now today is 3 for 3. So let's see, as we look back at our scorecards, he's 8 for his last 10, Tabby.
Yeah, he has raised that batting average. Now he started today at 240. He's up to 255, and I like this matchup. The numbers, Smoke versus Andriese, they're huge this season.
Smoke in his career is 6 for 8 with 2 homers against Andriese. So if you're going to ask for a guy to help you break out of a slump, this might be the guy from Justin Smoke's perspective.
Yeah, especially with a runner over at first base. You get that pitcher in that stretch position. Can't get as much on as he would in the windup position. It's could be a good thing.
I know this is completely crazy to say, and I know it'll never happen. So let me say that first, because I know he's got big numbers again, but he's really struggling, and they're giving him the base hit if he pushes it up the third baseline. Like, I know they're not going to do it. The analytics say don't do it. You got to keep doing what you do. Try to hit it out of the ballpark. But it's there. I mean, it's always there, right? Every time Justin Smoke comes up against a righty, it's there. And he's not the only guy. Most left-handed batters or switch hitters batting left see the shift these days, but very few of them ever opt to bunt for a base hit.
He tried it one time this year. I think it was Minnesota played 4 outfielders against him and 3 infielders. And he tried it and fouled a ball off.
There's 1 and there's 2. Smoke grounds into the double play. That was 3-5-3, was it not? That was Duffy coming across.
Yes, it was. They were in the shift. Adames was in short right field. 3-5-3. That's the 53rd double play that they have turned this year. And after the Blue Jays get the leadoff hitter on yet again, Andriese going to hit with 2 outs, nobody on.
Here's Teoscar Hernandez, a walk and a strikeout. And a little bit low for ball 1. You know, John Gibbons says it a lot. The Blue Jays are successful offensively when they hit home runs. If they don't, they have trouble scoring runs, just not adept at manufacturing or stringing hits together, whatever terminology you want to use. And again, they've been given a lot of opportunities here today. There's a hard hit ball into left field, a base hit for Hernandez, just shy of the track. Field will cut it off. And we've seen Hernandez run very aggressively at times in the last couple of weeks, but he'll take the 2-out single.
You know, you were just talking about the home runs and if they dry up. I think the same thing's happening in Baltimore. Baltimore was hitting a ton of home runs over the last 4 or 5 seasons. Those have dried up and they haven't been scoring many runs either. Blue Jays have to figure out a way to score runs if they can't hit home runs.
It's tough because your personnel is your personnel.
Yeah,
right?
and Gibby says that too. He goes, we're a home run hitting team. We've been built to try and hit home runs. And I give him credit at times trying to push the envelope, try to help them manufacture runs by starting runners, hitting and running with the right guys. I mean, he knows.
Solarte, a ground out and a pop-up. Claim to pull on both the infield and the outfield. Up the middle, and right there is Adames. He'll force the lead runner, and that'll be that. Couple of hits, a man left on to the bottom of the fifth. No score.
Hall of Fame induction ceremony for Toronto Blue Jays outfielder Lloyd Moseby, Montreal Expos pitcher Pedro Martinez, and Canada's top baseball historian Bill Humber. The ceremony begins at 1 p.m. with an inductee autograph session following the event. There will be ball games, barbecues, and auctions taking place throughout the day. For more information, please visit www.baseballhalloffame.ca.
All right, Hazel, thank you. The Hall of Fame located, of course, in St. Mary's, Ontario. Bottom five, no score, and 7-8-9 for the Rays. Johnny Field, Malik Smith, and Jesus Sucre against Jay Happ. We've seen a lot of 0-2 counts today, haven't we, Ted?
Yeah, and now you got to finish them off early. We were showing the inconsistencies in the number of pitches that Jay has had so far in this ball game. That's why when you're ahead 0-2, I don't think you can waste one. I think you have to go right after the hitter.
Of Happ's 76 pitches so far, 53 strikes, just 23 balls. Field working it back to a 2-2 count.
That's what I mean about wasting pitches. You know, you got 7, 8, 9. You jump ahead 0-2. Try to sink a ball away and then a high fastball. You only have so many bullets nowadays.
Yep.
100 of them.
They're counting.
So you can't waste them, especially when you've had the 2 long innings like Jay has had this year, or this game.
Three-2, and it's ball 4. So from 0-2 to a leadoff walk to Field. And now a guy who can do some different things with a bat in this kind of a situation, Malik Smith.
Would shock me if he would swing the bat. I mean, this situation right here is screaming for a drag bunt. Not necessarily a sacrifice bunt, but a drag bunt. Something that you take up the first base line and you force the Blue Jays to make a play defensively. Worst case scenario, you've got a runner at second base in scoring position.
A slap hitter, very fast, very little power. Creeping in at third, Urshela, and Smith does show, and he takes down and away ball one. And of course, every step that he could make Urshela take towards him makes it a little bit more likely that if he does swing the bat, he might be able to bounce one past him.
Yeah, if they take it off, and they can take it off. Kevin Cash has been known to put it on and take it off. But if they leave it on, he wants to bunt this ball to the right side of the infield, away from Urshela. He gave it away right there, didn't he, on that throw over to first base?
He was shortening up. Brings it with them. Smoke got a hurry, and they get it there just in time to Solarte covering. 3-4 on the putout to advance the runner.
You know, that's where communication comes in very handy. It looked like a really good bunt by Malik Smith. As a first baseman, you got to go get anything you can get here. If there's any indecision by Justin Smoke, look how close this ball is at first base, how close the play is. But he comes firing in off the bag, makes the call by himself, makes the play, and gets the out.
And even though he's probably trying to get aboard, it wasn't a pure sacrifice. They do credit him with a sacrifice on that play. So 3-4 on the putout. Field to second, one down for the number 9 hitter Jesus Sucre. Who grounded out his first time up. Something's got to give at some point in this game. The team's trading zeros so far. The Blue Jays with more chances, more quality chances to do some damage
against inferior pitching.
Right.
Jay Happ is the ace of his team, and you expect that from your ace to shut them down if they get guys in scoring position.
Upstairs, 2 balls and a strike. The Blue Jays had a dip into their bullpen for Biagini, Clippard, and Loop last night. Each threw an inning, and they used 4 different relievers: Barnes, Axford, O, and Gilmet on a Monday night as Martin heads to the mound. So every Blue Jay reliever has been used in this series other than Ryan Tepera, but nobody's really had to be extended. Nobody's even thrown 20 pitches in their appearances
Ryan
in this series.
Tepera has to play in this game.
Has to pitch today.
He has to
Yes.
pitch. They have an
He will
off
pitch.
day
Yeah.
tomorrow. He hasn't pitched, like you said, at one time in this series. He's got to get in there at some point today, hopefully in a save situation.
Look back, and the 3-1, and it's outside. And all of a sudden, Jay Happ, whose command is typically so good, he's walked 2 here in the 5th inning.
3 for the game. Last time he walked 3 batters was that win against the Angels back on May the 22nd.
And it looks like John Gibbons has seen enough to get the bullpen up. There's some stirring down the left field line right now. As Happ now wades into the top of the order. Xianhuan Oh is going to start to throw here in the 5th inning. You know, on the one hand, Happ's only given up 1 hit. On the other hand, though, he's walked 3, and with all the pitches they fouled off early, they've got him up close to 90 pitches here in the 5th inning. There's a great J-Hap fastball. 0-2.
One outside, one inside. And again, he jumps ahead 0-2. Can't waste any. Got to go right after him. Duffy can hit the ball all over the field. He's actually had more hits to right field this year than he's had to left field.
Sends that one foul down the right field line, out of play. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts for Happ today. Duffy has flied out and he's walked. Went 0 for 4 last night. Had a couple of hits in the opening game of the series. Seen that a lot, turning that ball over on 2 strikes, sinking it away.
And he's missed. He's missed with that pitch. He hasn't been able to get it close to the plate or get it close enough to make those batters swing at it. They have seen that pitch, it seems like all afternoon, out of his hand.
Down the right field line, foul. Not nearly the number of swings and misses you normally see in a J-Hap start, and I think you got to give the Rays some credit for that.
Yeah, they've put together some good at bats today.
Yep.
Cut down their swings. They're not really a home run hitting team, not like they were last year. They've changed things up a little bit. I've talked to Chad Mottola, their hitting coach, about that. He says, you know, we will battle you. We will use the whole field. When we get the 2 strikes, our hitters will cut down their swings. Last year, they led the world in strikeouts offensively. This year, a little bit better. They're not striking out near enough. They've become tough outs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they are 12th in the American League in runs per game, so it's not like they're a great offensive team, but they're trying to max out in the areas where they can with the abilities that they have. Strikeouts, middle of the pack in the American League. Slashes it to right field. Grichuk's got another one. 2 down.
It's the jumps that he gets on the ball and the reads that he gets on the ball that looks so good. When that ball left the bat from Duffy, it looked like it was going to be a double. But watch Grichuk in right field. With 2 strikes, he's shading him to the line. He reads it perfectly. Runs right to where the ball's going to come down and actually made it look easy. What a difference maker he's been defensively for the Blue Jays.
Now here's a big moment. 2 on, 2 out. And a guy we have come to see in just a few days is really tough at the plate in Bowers. Reached on an error on an 11-pitch at bat back in the first, and then had a base hit in the third on a ball that Happ left up and out over the plate.
It looks like their scouting report on Bowers is they're going to try and keep that fastball up, elevate that fastball against him. But he's been able to nick it every time tonight.
7th round pick by San Diego back in 2013, acquired in the Will Myers deal with the Padres. You like a swing?
Love a swing.
Yeah.
Kevin Cash was talking about it the other day, that swing. He says, you know, I don't want to put any pressure on him, but he looks like some of those great young hitters that we've seen in the past. You know, the Will Clarks and all those sweet looking swings from left-handers. That's unfair to say that to a guy who's so young.
1-2. Yeah, the righties can have really good swings and put up enormous numbers, but the sweet swings, the pretty swings, it's always the lefties they talk about.
It seems like it, doesn't it?
No offense.
Hey, none taken. I agree with you. What you want to make sure that he can do is catch the ball out in front. And he has shown that he can catch the ball out in front. We've seen his first major league home run.
And a ground ball weakly hit to Solarte. On to first, and the Rays will leave a couple of men on. It's been a battle for half, but he's thrown 5 shutout innings. Did against the Baltimore Orioles, that 4-game sweep. They swung the bats well against the Orioles on the season, Tabby. They're hitting .311. Against the other 3, .205 and down.
Yeah, not so much. And the Rays just .193. Every game has been played right here in this ballpark, and there's just been something about this team over the years that they have been able to make pitches when they had to. I know they like to use their fastball on the inner part of the plate against the Blue Jays and then go soft away. A lot more breaking balls, which you're right. American League East, you talk about, oh, they got great lineups and deep lineups and a lot of home runs. Let's don't forget about the good pitching that you have in this league.
Here's Kevin Pillar to lead off the 6th inning in what is still a scoreless game. It'll be Pillar, Martin, and Grichuk, 5, 6, and 7. You know, the best thing that could potentially happen to this Blue Jay offense is to get Josh Donaldson back. And if you weren't with us earlier, talked about it, he's going to do some running at Rogers Center tomorrow on the off day, and then potentially go out and play a couple of games at Buffalo. If everything goes well, he could be back in a few days, but it's kind of still a wait and see proposition.
Didn't Gibby say that he's been going over to the complex and
Yes.
taking at bats in extended spring training?
But he still hasn't
run
hard.
He's done everything but run.
Yeah.
He's taken his share of ground balls. He's throwing, so his arm's in shape. The batting eye seems to be in shape.
Pillar lifts a routine fly ball to right field for Gomez.
At the Honda Checkered Flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
This is what Tabby was doing yesterday morning before we came over to the ballpark. Took the camera with him, went out and got some beauty shots.
What do you think?
Nice job.
Thank you.
I
mounted that thing right on the front of my boat.
Yeah, right.
You're not buying?
The guys in the truck say it's called the bow, not the front.
Oh. What gave it away?
Russell Martin's reached up there and he's walked. Blue Jays have 4 hits in the game. Granderson's got 3 of them. Hernandez the other. The Jays have left 7 men on through 5. The Rays have left 5 men on. Matt Andriese, the second pitcher of the game for Tampa Bay, came on in the 4th inning. And another fly ball and a frustrated Russell Martin as Gomez will make the catch. Martin, after getting over the frustration. He accelerated because then it clicked back in. Hey, this is the Trop. And anything can happen with the white ball and the white roof, but Gomez made the play, 2 down.
Day games more than night games. Yeah. I ran into Kevin Pillar yesterday and I said, okay, Kevin, you've been in here 6 years now. Have you gotten used to the roof here? And before I got that last sentence out, I said, no. And he said day games are worse because the sun's out, it's bright, it lights up that roof, and the ball disappears. Yeah, can you pick up a baseball looking into that?
Not quite as bad as the old Metrodome was, but pretty close, don't you think? And another one. This time it'll be Malik Smith, and you can hear him yelling, I got it, and he does, and that's 3 fly ball outs for the Blue Jays as they go in order. No score going to the bottom of the 6th, and it looks like O's coming in. Haps afternoon is done.
IF presented by Bacardi. Join us pregame for fun activities and DJ Scratch Bastard spinning in the WestJet flight deck. Then watch your Blue Jays take on Bryce Harper and the Washington Nationals Friday, June 15th at 7:07 p.m. Eastern. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. And Dan, the Nationals have just announced their probable starters this weekend. It'll be lefty Gio Gonzalez in the opener. As you guessed it, Max Scherzer on Saturday and Tanner Roark, right-hander, in the series finale.
Well, Saturday is a chance to come out and see one of the very best pitchers in baseball, a guy who has truly elevated himself. I don't even know if that's the right word. He's been there for a few years as Xianhuan Oh comes in. Max Scherzer is right there with any pitcher in baseball. He is 10-2 with an ERA of 2. And in 94 2/3 innings, he's given up 58 hits. That's nuts. And he struck out 142 batters already this year. He's on pace to go well over 300 on the season.
How many Cy Youngs does he have?
2 or 3.
Yeah, he's got all the, everything you need, the numbers and everything like that. What impresses me when he's on the mound is what a bulldog he is. He's not going to give in.
He has 3 Cy Youngs. He's won one each of the last 2 years with the Nationals, and he won one with the Tigers back in 2013. He's on a Hall of Fame track. He's that good.
Absolutely.
And a swing and a miss as O sits down Adames, 1 down. The Nationals, despite dealing with a lot of injuries, a very talented team, but they are trailing the Atlanta Braves, who have already won today. They beat the Mets. So the Nationals are a game and a half back in what could be Bryce Harper's last year in Washington. He's a free agent at the end of the season.
That's right. And he got hit twice in the game last night against the Yankees. Once in the elbow, and then Della Betances hit him with a curveball.
Speaking of which, O just hit C.J. Cron. Yeah, Harper had to leave the game after the second one, but apparently it's minor.
speaking of getting hit, C.J. Cron's been getting hit a lot lately.
What's that, 13 now?
Yeah. And in that time, just like the other night, he wears an elbow pad on that front elbow, and anything up and in, it hits him right on that elbow pad. Doesn't get out of the way, just clips him. So he'll take his base.
He's been hit more than any hitter in baseball this year. 1 on, 1 out for the Rays from the bottom of the 6th, and here is a pinch hitter coming up. Joey Wendell batting for Christian Arroyo. Left-handed bat coming up for the righty now that Happ is out and O is in. Wendell came on last night as a pinch hitter in the 6th inning and had an RBI single in a key spot.
He's got that type of swing where he can come off the bench, sit a day or two, sit a couple of innings, and then hit line drives. It's a very uncomplicated swing.
Sends one back above us. Spent a couple of years with Oakland, broke in 2016. Getting a chance to play more this year with the Rays than he did in either year with the A's. 270-time lifetime hitter in 91 games.
Good defender. Known more for his glove right now in his career, but can handle the bat.
Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. After this series with the Blue Jays, it's a tough road for the Rays over the next couple of weeks. They're heading out on a road trip to play the Yankees and the Astros next. Ground ball to second. Solarte takes Diaz off the bag, but then Diaz with the presence of mind to lean down and tag the lead runner. So at least they got 1, but they should have had 2.
Yeah, they should be hitting right now. Solarte couldn't get the ball out of his glove and then tried in one motion to just shovel the ball over to Diaz. A one hopper right to him. There's the shovel. But watch Diaz say, you know what? I know I was off the base, so let's get at least 1. If he can get it out of his glove cleanly, that's a tailor-made double play. Now let's hope that doesn't hurt the Blue Jays, because they should be hitting right now.
Instead, 2 outs and a man at first, and a huge swing and a miss by Carlos Gomez. Mentioned a couple of days ago, Gomez is only 32 years of age. Feels like he's been around forever. Was a regular when he was 22 with Minnesota, and was an all-star a couple of times. Hit over 20 homers, would steal a lot of bases. Terrific defender, but around about a couple of years ago started bouncing around from team to team. The numbers have gone down, hitting under 200 this year.
He's still dangerous on pitches that are in and down or in, and that's why the Blue Jays have this whole series just pounded him up and away with fastballs.
See the career numbers for him in his 12th year.
You can see Russell, look at him setting up off the plate, and a pitch up and away. All those pitches. I don't think he can get to it.
Oh, trying to get out of this. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he will. Strikes him out on a high fastball. A good inning for Seung-Hwan Oh. End of 6. No score. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Who's going to break the ice in this one? Joey Wendell stays with the game at second after batting for Christian Arroyo. It is still scoreless going to the seventh. And Aledmus Diaz will lead it off against Matt Andriese, who kind of quietly, Tabby, has put up 2 2/3 shutout innings here in relief of Wilmer Font. There's been some bobbing and weaving from a Tampa Bay pitcher point of view. The Blue Jays have had a lot of base runners. The only 3 up, 3 down inning for the Jays was the 6th inning, the last inning.
Plenty more in the tank for Andriese. There's 35 pitches. And he has started games. He's stretched out. So if you want to shorten the game, that's the way to do it. Get a guy to throw 3 innings at the beginning and then bring in a long man. There's Danny Barnes. He is up. Looks like he's going to be coming in the bottom of the inning.
Swing and a miss, and Diaz is gone, 1 down. Well, 2 days in a row, the way the Rays have gone at it. Stanek to Pruitt last night, and Font to Andriese today. It has worked for them. Now, granted, against a team that, other when they have faced the Orioles recently, has really been struggling to swing the bat. And remember what the Blue Jays are getting themselves into over the weekend. Gio Gonzalez, Max Scherzer, Tanner Roark. And then Mike Soroka, the Calgary native, looks to start on Tuesday, coming off the start today against the Mets, where he took a no-hitter into the 7th. The Mets struggling just as much, maybe more offensively than just about anybody right now.
First place is going to be a theme, I think, over the next couple of weeks for the Blue Jays. And I mean that, but that's the opposition that they're going to be facing over the next couple of weeks. Washington's a game out of first place. That's the next opponent. Atlanta, they are in first place. Then you've got the West, that West Coast trip. The Angels, they were close to first place. They're just 6.5 games out now. And then Houston, they're a half a game out of first place.
There's a little soft liner out to second. Wendell to play, and Urshela is retired 2 down.
So normally when you face those good teams like that, they've got great pitching. And we're going to be seeing some of that over the next couple of weeks.
And the Blue Jays also in early July, as Diego Castillo starts throwing for the Rays. The Blue Jays will also see the Yankees and the Red Sox again before the All-Star break. So it's tough sledding these days. 6 in a row now set down by Andriese. 2 down to the bases empty here in the 7th. No score. And here's Curtis Granderson, who's 3 for 3 with 3 singles to right field and 8 for his last 10. And all of a sudden, you mentioned it last time he was up, now hit 255.
Before this hot streak, and it's only just 3 games for Curtis, he was hitting 218.
Yeah.
He's got it up to 255 now.
37 points in 3 games. 4 for 5, the huge day on Sunday. Didn't play Monday. 1 for 2 last night. 3 for 3 today. Looks like DHing agrees with him. Hasn't been in the outfield in those games. And this again, Grichuk's back, so there's less playing time right now. John Gibbons, I think, feels that Granderson will be more productive if he gets off his legs a little bit more, if he DHs a little bit more. But that's now cutting into the Kendrys Morales playing time, obviously.
I think if there is a tough right-hander coming up, you might want to give one of your outfielders a day off.
Yeah.
And that's when Granderson can fill in and play in the outfield.
You mean like Scherzer?
Like a Max Scherzer. That's where I was going with that one.
You think one of those outfielders will be sitting on Saturday? I agree with you.
Then you get Morales' bat in the lineup against a tough right-hander. You keep Granderson's bat in the lineup.
Yeah, against lefties, it's easy, like against Gio Gonzalez on Friday. Granderson doesn't play.
Sure.
That kind of takes care of itself. It's against righties where it gets a little bit trickier. Shift on for the Rays. Anderson now in his 15th year in the big leagues, broke in 2004. Tigers, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers briefly last year. Now the Blue Jays. Over 300 homers, almost 1,700 hits, almost 900 RBIs in his career. A three-time All-Star.
Yeah, there was a time he could run a little bit, steal you a base. Extra bases with speed. I think that if you summed up his career, that's what you can talk about Curtis. He's got extra base pop in his bat, but with speed to get you some triples.
He had 23 triples one year. Led the majors with the Tigers back in 2007. One hopper down to first. Big bounce for Bowers. Granderson retired for the first time today. 7th inning stretch at the Trop and still no score.
Father's Day is presented by Hudson's Bay. Give Dad the gift of baseball and join us in the WestJet flight deck for the Dad's Den. That's this Sunday, June 17th, when your Blue Jays host the Washington Nationals at 1:07 p.m. Eastern. Check out BlueJays.com for tickets. Dan.
All right, Hazel, thank you. To the bottom of the 7th, and Danny Barnes is the new pitcher for the Blue Jays.
So Danny, on Monday in a relief appearance against the Tampa Bay Rays, that happened to be his 100th game as a Blue Jay on Monday. He also reached 100 strikeouts as a Blue Jay in that game. He had an inning and 2/3 and 3 strikeouts, the most strikeouts he's had in an outing this season. His fastball was really good, and I mean really good, on Monday.
Johnny Field leads it off. That's a good baseball name, don't you think?
Johnny Field?
Johnny Field.
Come
That's
on.
a great baseball name.
It's like Mickey Mantle.
Yeah. Like if you're doing a fictional movie about baseball, you could have a guy named Johnny Field in that movie. He's flied out and walked today. Outside, says Doug Eddings. 3 balls, no strikes. And a high strike, 3-1. Aaron Loop up in the pen.
Well, he can't afford to walk him, so he's got to challenge him with a fastball. A well-placed fastball. And that's a well-placed fastball. Down and away. You don't get hurt too often down and away. There aren't too many players in the major leagues who can take that down and away fastball and knock it out of the ballpark.
And if they do, you just kind of tip your cap, right? So.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Swing and a miss to get him, one down. So Barnes has now struck out 4 of the 6 batters he's faced in this series.
Yeah, he wanted this ball down and away again. Got away with a pitch that's up and in. He's got one of those J-Happ type of fastballs where it gets on you quickly, high spin rate, and batters just don't seem to pick it up. It's on him quickly.
Malik Smith is the batter, and that brings Urshela in at third as Smith will look at a strike. Remember, the Blue Jays had a game like this with the Yankees about a week ago, right? Where it went into extra innings scoreless, and nobody scored until the top of the 13th when Judge and Stanton both homer. That game was scoreless for 12 innings.
That was the Gaviglio start, wasn't it?
That was Gaviglio and Sonny Gray. The Rays still had just 1 hit. J-Happ went 5, 1 hit, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Pitch count got up and really had to work hard in some of his innings, so they didn't let him go back out for the 6th. A good inning for O, and now Barnes in the bottom of the 7th. That's going to be all kinds of trouble. With his speed, that's going to be an easy double.
Oh-2. And so the infielders can back up a little bit, but you still have to stay in, shorten up a little bit, respecting that speed. If he hits a ball, a slow roller, if you're back, he's going to outrun the baseball. But this one is just well timed and well placed. Change up down and away. Just throws his bat at the ball. You can see Urshela is deeper, but he can't get that one. And once it got past him, that's extra bases.
And now Kevin Cash will go to his bench for his #1 catcher. Wilson Ramos will come on to bat for Jesus Sucre. Ramos homering in last night's game.
Very interesting decisions to be made, I think, for the Blue Jays. You got first base open. You can choose to pitch to him if you want to, or you can just take the bat out of his hand and let him go down to first base. You might want to think about that because this is what he did last night. Ball out over the plates, home run number 8. Gave him a 2-1 lead.
First pitch swinging, and a fly ball to center field. Pilar setting up, coming in a few steps, makes the catch. And Smith will stay at second. That's a big second out for Danny Barnes. So now Matt Duffy, the leadoff man. 0 for 2 on the afternoon, comes in with one of the top batting averages in the league, came in at .314. Can Barnes get out of it? With Smith's speed, any kind of a base hit is basically an automatic run. And if there's a ground ball, if you're an infielder, you got to keep it on the infield.
Yeah, knock it down.
Yeah.
Any way you can. Even a routine ball, you know, if Duffy can run a little bit. If it's going to be bang bang at first base, Smith might not stop.
Right.
Coming around third.
Jam shot to first, backhanded by Smoke, and he'll beat Duffy to the bag to end the bottom of the 7th. So good inning for Danny Barnes for the 2nd time in this series. And it is still 0-0.
Your team at the 2018 NHL Draft. It all begins on June 22nd and 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now. Back up to the booth with Dan Shulman and Pat Tabler. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Hazel. We go to the 8th inning in a scoreless game here in St. Petersburg. And the Blue Jays will send their 2, 3, and 4 hitters up against the third pitcher of the afternoon for Tampa Bay. Guy the Blue Jays saw earlier in the series, right-hander Diego Castillo.
Yeah, Castillo pitched on Monday night. First 2 batters he faced, he punched them out, then gave up a hit. Got out of that inning when Teoscar Hernandez was caught stealing. Big right-hander. There's Wilson Ramos taking over Sucre after pinch hitting for him. He's got a big fastball and a good slider. When that slider's on, he's going to get a lot of ground balls.
Justin Smoke leads it off against him. Smoke is 0 for 3 today. A couple of fly balls and a double play ball. Outside and a 2-0 count. A lot of natural movement on that fastball. Not great command. Just the 4th big league appearance for Castillo. The first 2 times he came in were in lower leverage situations. The one against the Blue Jays Monday, the first time he's really been in a close game. Hard hit ball. And from shallow right field, the play will be made by Wendell. No, Adames, forgive me, Adames, the shortstop, coming around there in the shift and made a great play, both to dive and stop the ball and then make the throw that he did from way out there.
The 2 young kids that they have in their infield, Willie Adames, the shortstop, and Jake Bowers, the first baseman, have shown that they are two-way players, meaning that they can hit and they can field. Doesn't get any better than that one right there from Adames from the seat of his pants to get the first out.
And the frustration has to be mounting for Smoke. Hitting the ball hard and having nothing to show for it after this play. I mean, he did so many things well on this play.
And how about the play on the other end by the first baseman?
Yep.
To go into the baseline and take that ball and then avoid the contact. This is why they have Adames out there. He's got great range. Normally a shortstop, but when they shift with a big right-hander, excuse me, a big left-hander, he'll be out in right field.
2 buddies, good friends who came up through the minors together, but a number of levels. Adames and Bowers now getting a chance to be teammates at the big league level.
They have flashed the leather a couple of times in this 3-game series.
Yeah, these are going to be names we'll be saying a lot in the coming years. Hernandez 1 for 2 with a walk. Reaches down for it and sends a fly ball to center field. Smith is there, 2 down.
Yeah, I can't tell you how much that does for a pitcher when you've got a leadoff batter late in the game in a scoreless tie and the first batter is taken off the board on a great play. Just gives you confidence.
Yangervis Solarte with 2 down and the bases empty here in the 8th inning of a scoreless game. 4 hits for the Blue Jays, 2 for the Rays. Solarte is 0 for 3. And a high strike, 0-1. There's that run at 97.
Yeah, with a little something on it.
Yeah.
He was in Double-A last year. Started the season in Double-A, earned a promotion in July. They really like him.
One ball, 2 strikes on Solarte, and now Aaron Loop has been joined by Ryan Tepera, who, as you said earlier, Tabby, you knew he was going to pitch today one way or another. Off day tomorrow, hasn't pitched in a couple of days, and this could be one of these days, depending on the situation, where Gibby asks him for more than 3 outs. Sure looking that way. Line in down the right field line, a fair ball. Gomez will cut it off, and that'll be a 2-out single for Solarte.
It's time to fire up your senses. Your best experience begins with Broil King. Available at your local home hardware. Here's how.
Solarte will leave. Devin Travis is going to run for him at first base with 2 down in the 8th inning. And the batter is going to be Kevin Pillar, who's 0 for 3, a pop up and a couple of fly balls. Not that Travis is a burner, but maybe they feel a bit of a better chance to score from first on a gapper or something like that than Solarte.
Exactly what they're thinking right there. Not like he's going to steal and get himself in the scoring position, but if Pillar, who's been known to hit his share of doubles, gets into one, you want to be able to score that run from first base.
Pillar frustrated with himself, chased that slider down and away. The Blue Jays with 5 runs on now 18 hits in this series, and this is the 26th inning. But the Rays haven't scored today either. And a swing and a miss. To the bottom of the 8th. And still no score. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker from the Samsung broadcast studio.
Largest and only official team shop for your Toronto Blue Jays. Come visit us at the Toronto Eaton Centre, Rogers Centre, gates 1 and 5, and every in-stadium kiosk. Visit jshop.ca or call 1-877-JSHOP.
To the bottom of the 8th in a scoreless game, and into the game for the Blue Jays is left-hander Aaron Loup.
There are numbers for Loopy in 30 games already. This is number 31 for Loup. Lefty's hitting .233, no home runs against Aaron. Just 10 hits all season long to now allow a hit for about 6 straight innings as Devin Travis, he takes over at second base after pinch running for Solarte. We'll see how the Blue Jays play this one. You've got a lefty up in Bowers, then a couple of good right-handed batters. This might be just one batter.
Absolutely.
For Aaron Loup.
Yep. Tepera up and ready. Bowers 1 for 3 on the afternoon. No score, bottom of the 8th. And a strike. That's going to find a hole. Didn't hit it that hard, but hit it right back up the middle for a base hit. And here comes Gibby, and that is indeed all for Loup. Ryan Tepera will be coming in. Leadoff man aboard, bottom 8. Loup out, Tepera coming in for the Jays. Defensively, the dive of the game brought to you by the Honda Checkered Flag event. Check out their all-star lineup.
Yeah, we have to get a little bit creative in a 0-0 game. So instead of driving the game, it's a dive as he dives to his left and takes away a hit from Justin Smoke. We even statcast it for you. Shows you how far he went. A great throw right there. This afternoon's dive of the game.
Adames will be coming up against Ryan Tepera, who last pitched on June the 8th, 5 days ago. And he's on quite possibly for more than an inning here, depending on how things go.
He picked up a save in that last outing. That was against Baltimore. Only threw 8 pitches. He has been in 32 innings this season. You can see that. Plenty of games, plenty of opportunities, but well rested. Hard fastball, hard slider. He's 3 for 6 in save opportunities. He also has 9 holds. He's done a heck of a job this year out of the bullpen.
Leadoff man aboard for the Rays here in a scoreless game at the bottom of the 8th. And the first pitch is swing and a miss by Adames, who struck out in all 3 at-bats today. Urshela now backing up at third, 2-3 steps behind the bag as Tepera checks on Bowers. Bowers has 1 stolen base in his young big league career. And last year, Tabby, Bowers stole 20 bases, so you do have to keep an eye on him over there. You can't take anything for granted, especially in this kind of a ball game.
Yeah, you don't want to take anything for granted, but you also don't want to run into an out because you have your quote best hitters coming up. 3, 4, 5. It'd be nice to get into scoring position, but you don't want to make an out.
0-2.
Ryan's been in 31 games this season, just 32 innings pitched, and he's averaged a strikeout per inning.
And when you start looking at this team and, you know, guys they could trade if they don't get back into it in the next few weeks, this is a guy I think you can build around. He hasn't been around all that long. He's not making a ton of money. They still control him for probably 3 years, I would think. So I would think this guy's going to be a mainstay in the bullpen.
He's really taken off his career since they moved him into the bullpen. He was a starter in the minor leagues, and I would see him in big league camp and say, well, he's got a pretty good arm. But once they moved him into the pen and shortened his workload as a starter, you know, 5, 6, 7 innings, it just wears you down after a while. It really matches up with his skill set as a reliever. 1 inning if you have to, 1+ innings if you have to. They've had him as a setup role. They've had him as a long role last year, and they've had him closing at times. He's getting some movement, a lot of movement on his fastball now, where he'll get his share of ground ball outs.
2-2. And now a full count. So now a different situation. We're not talking about a steal. We're just talking about, do you start the runner here? Not a straight steal, I should say. Do you start the runner at 3-2?
They had the opportunity to do that in the first inning, if you remember, after the error by Jay Happ, and they kept the runner there, and Jay struck out Adames. They might change up here now in the 8th inning.
Going and foul it off. I think 8th inning, nobody out.
Take a shot.
Then why not? Yeah. If you're the Rays, you can. If you're Kevin Cash, you can understand why you're doing it. But now you're asking Adames, you can't swing and miss.
Yeah. No.
You got to put the ball in play somewhere. Going again. Ground ball to short. Diaz up with it and on to first. Could have been 2 as the run if the runner's not going. So it definitely pays off for the Rays. They get a runner into scoring position with 1 down.
And that's exactly why you do that, why you start that runner. TBA gets a lot of ground balls, especially with that fastball with movement. Kevin Cash rolling the dice, starting that runner, staying out of the double play. And now he's got 2 shots with his number 4 and number 5 hitters to try and break this tie.
Number 4 hitter is C.J. Cron. A couple of strikeouts and hit by a pitch. Just 3 for his last 32 right now, but all 3 hits home runs. A look back by TBA. You know what's interesting is nobody is up in the Rays bullpen right now. And I guess they feel they can get somebody up in a hurry if they need to.
Or just leave Castillo in there.
Yes.
You don't need a closer. They don't have
have a closer.
Yeah, closer.
Their last 4 saves, well, 5 now with Romo. So 4 different guys have gotten their last 5 saves. The 1-0. Down and away, 2 balls, no strikes on Cron. Now you got a base open, so you can attack it that way if you want. Cron's only faced TBA. Well, he's faced him twice. Has walked once and struck out once. No score in the bottom of the 8th.
I think you got to leave that up to the pitcher, how he feels. And 2-0, I think that shows you how he feels right there. Slider way off.
Thought now at 3-0 they might just put him on, but looks like they're not going to. The old unintentional, intentional walk. Brings up Wendell, a left-handed batter. Wendell came on as a pinch hitter for Christian Arroyo back in the 6th inning and bounced into a fielder's choice.
Yeah, a great time right now by Russell to go out there to talk about Tepera. Let's go over what signs we're going to use. The runner's been out there for a batter. Let's change things up if we want to. Go back over our scouting report of on Wendell.
First and second with one out. And no score in this game. The Rays 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. The Blue Jays are 0 for 7. And the pitch. Fastball at 95, but it comes in low for ball 1. The Blue Jays 33-66 in their last 99 games here in this ballpark. That goes back better than 10 years. It's always been just a tough place for the Blue Jays to come down here and get wins.
And a lot of the losses were games like this, that they were close or they were leading. Somehow the Rays would find their way on. Either an error, a walk, a base hit, and they would find ways to bring those runs around. Got to get the ball on the ground. Thought they had a double play his last time up.
Knee-high strike, 2-1.
He's got a little extra zip on his fastball. I mentioned he hasn't pitched in 5 days. That one was 97. His last 3 appearances for Tepera have all been more than 1 inning. I think that's why John Gibbons wanted to give him a little bit extra rest.
Couple of checks of the runner. And the 2-1, a swing and a ball down the left field line, but a fading foul. Back into that picnic area, 2-2. The Blue Jays are playing him around to the opposite field, out in the outfield. Hernandez closer to the line, Pilar over to left center, and Grichuk pinching into the right center field alley just a bit.
Teoscar Hernandez in left field looks like he's guarding the line. They don't think he's going to get around on a fastball.
The 2-2. Ball inside, says Doug Eddings, and if it was, it wasn't by much.
Boy, tough pitch. Blue Jays wanted that one.
So Tepera's got to regroup. The count now full. The runners are going, and it's fouled off by Wendell. Kevin Cash playing to his personnel. You mentioned not a big home run hitting team, and they got to do things a little bit differently offensively as well.
Stay out of the double play once again. Tepera threw him a breaking ball, and he just barely got it. Good time. Throw the pickoff play on now.
Bluffing him back. J. Happ went 5. O the 6th. Barnes the 7th. Loop gave up a base hit to the one batter he faces here in the 8th. Now Tepera. 2 on with the 1 out. Not going here, and it's strike 3 call. Right up at the top end of the zone. 2 down.
Ryan Tepera says, okay, you're not going to give me that one in just off the plate. I'm going to go up with a hard fastball right at the top of the strike zone. That's a big out right there.
So with 2 down, the batter is Carlos Gomez, who has only faced Ryan Tepera once in his career, And he hit a home run off him. Low ball 1. Pair up to 20 pitches now in his 2/3 of an inning thus far. And a broken bat, ground ball to the left side, and Urshela the short way to Travis, covering at second to force the runner and end the inning. So we're going to the top of the 9th. There is still no score in the game. The Blue Jays will send up Russell Martin, Randall Grichuk, and then Aledmus Diaz as Castillo will come out for his 2nd inning of work.
Star hits the 6 as Bryce Harper and the Nats clash with Aaron Sanchez and the Blue Jays. That's this Friday. You can catch the action at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific time, beginning with Blue Jays Central right here on Sportsnet. And Dan, as mentioned, Washington will give the ball to left-hander Gio Gonzalez in the series opener.
All right, Hazel, thank you. Scoreless game here at Tropicana Field, top of the 9th inning. Diego Castillo back out for his 2nd inning of work for the Rays. And Russell Martin's going to lead it off. Martin is 0 for 2 with a walk. 5 hits for the Blue Jays, 3 for Tampa Bay. And a swing and a miss, 0-1. Both bullpens are quiet at the moment. .88-mile-an-hour slider. They'll take that ball out of play. It's a ball and a strike on Martin.
He was on the Rays organizational all-star team last year, Castillo. Came quick. 2 years ago he was an A-ball. Last year he started in Double-A, made the jump to Triple-A, and here he is.
And he gets a pop-up at a shallow center field. Wendell, the second baseman, going back to find it for out number 1. If you're kind of next man up, like if the ball's not yours, but you're the next closest guy to it, you've almost got to assume that there could be trouble out there. You really got to be in position to help out your teammate on any pop-up.
I've asked the outfielders, I say, what's the best way to go after a ball here? I said, never take your eye off the ball. So you have to trust your ears, and you've got to be able to communicate in the outfield, because you're not looking around to see where the defenders are, because you can't look back up and try and pick up the baseball. Every fly ball is an adventure, it seems.
Right on the corner, and Castillo jumps out in front 0-2. And left-hander Vidal Nuno is now warming up in the bullpen. That could be for Granderson if it gets that far. Castillo strikes out Grichuk on 3 pitches. 2 down.
Pretty nasty stuff. His fastball as a right-handed batter is coming into you. His slider's going away. So you don't know where to track it. You track it inside or you track it outside. 3 in a row he is set down.
Now Aledmus Diaz 0 for 2 with a walk. Diaz fouled that ball hard off his left ankle earlier in the game, but managed to stay in. Made a pretty good defensive play after that. He doesn't want any piece of that 96-mile-an-hour 2-seam fastball running in under his hands right now.
Don't swing.
Yeah.
Don't swing.
He'd be much happier with a slider on the outside part of the plate. Slider bounced in. Font for 3 1/3, Andres for 3 2/3, and 5 outs so far for Castillo. A drive to deep left center field. And caught right in front of the fence by Field. Robbing Diaz of what should have been a double. A great play by Field. Diaz can't believe it.
Sportsnet. Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
To the bottom of the 9th here at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. Dan Schulman, Pat Tabler, Hazel May. No score. Ryan Tepera back out for his 2nd inning of work. 21 pitches in the 8th. Johnny Field, who just made that great catch in left center, leads it off. 7, 8, 9. Field, Smith. But remember, Ramos is hitting in the 9 spot. Really their number 3 hitter, but he came on as a pinch hitter for Sucre. Urshela even with a bag at 3rd. Rest of the infielders backed up for Field.
I have seen my share of home runs. I don't know how that ball didn't leave the ballpark. You can see the pitch, you can see the swing, you can hear the crack of the bat, and I'm like, that ball's out of here. And somehow Johnny Field, they were playing deep, no doubles, right? Nothing over your head. That helped him get back to the wall and make that catch. I don't know how the ballpark held it.
Pulled foul, and it's 2-1 on Field. He was in swing mode on that pitch. We've seen some really good defense in this game. Adames making a great play for the Rays. Field with that catch. Grichuk's made 2 really nice plays for the Blue Jays.
Diaz, remember when he went in the hole and threw out Gomez to end the 4th inning?
Urshela caught a screaming line drive at 3rd. Fouled it back just to our right. Almost wound up in the camera booth just to our right. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Field. A total of 8 pitchers have pitched in this game. 3 for the Rays, 5 for the Blue Jays. And the 2 teams have combined for only 8 hits. Strike 3 call. And Field not impressed.
The most pitches that Ryan has thrown in an outing this season is 28. That was 2 appearances ago.
He's going to go flying by that one today.
Yeah. Got the high strike on that one. Good start here in the 9th.
One down from Alex Smith. Trying to bunt for a base hit, not out of the question. He's got the only extra base hit in this game, and it was a little spinning squib up the 3rd baseline that went into foul territory near the bullpen. And with his speed, an easy double.
Yeah, that was his last at bats. He was stranded at 2nd base by Danny Barnes.
Left center field and pretty well hit. And it's going to split the outfielders. Is he thinking 3? He will put the brakes on as he rounds 2nd. The Rays have the winning run at 2nd base with a 1 down.
Now that's how you hit a double. The last one was off the end of the bat down the left field line. That one was scorched into the gap in the left center field. The outfielders were not that deep. Almost daring Alex Smith to hit it over their heads, and he did. Good job by the Jays. Pilar catching it off the wall and getting himself ready to get the ball back in.
Tyler Clippard has started to throw. Runner at 2nd, 1 out, bottom of the 9th. The base open. Wilson Ramos, the batter. And Tepera wants to talk to Martin. Again, you've got that open base, but you got Matt Duffy, a 300 hitter up next, and then Jake Bauers behind him.
It's not going to be easy, and you've got some speed out there at 2nd base. And with Devin Travis now in at 2nd base, you could see him standing right behind the bag right there. That's not to try and pick him off. That's just to try and keep the runner as close as possible to the bag.
Foul ball down the right side. So a season high in pitches for Tepera already. Clippard warming, winning run at 2nd, 1 down at the bottom of the 9th. And some of the Rays' best hitters up on deck and waiting for a chance. Runner goes, and a ground ball to short. Diaz on to 1st for the 2nd out. And I think Diaz was hesitating a little bit on the throw. He was going to make sure Smith wasn't going to round 3rd on that play.
What a heads-up play by Aledmys Diaz, the shortstop. You're absolutely right. The runner ran in front of him, and he caught the ball. Now, he knew he had some time with Ramos running. When he catches the ball, watch where he looks. He sees him run right in front of him, catches it, looks over to 3rd base, takes a couple of crow hops, and sees that the runner's going to stop. Just make sure that he stops. He knows he has time. Gets the out over at 1st base. I think Ramos did him a favor by swinging at that pitch.
So the trade is 90 feet for an out. Runner at 3rd, 2 down now for Matt Duffy, who takes a strike. Boy, any kind of a pitch in the dirt that bounces even a few feet away, Smith is liable to be coming home. They're up on the top step in the first base dugout, hoping they can end it right here. Base hit into left field, and the Rays will win it.
Duffy came into this game hitting .350 against the Blue Jays, .340 in this ballpark. And he's been a tough out. 6 games against the Blue Jays this year. He's been a tough out, and he cashes in that runner from third base, squeaking the ball to left field.
Coming off the sweep of the Orioles at home, a 4-game sweep, the Blue Jays come down here to the Trop. What has been commonly referred to as a house of horrors for them in recent years, and they get swept. Losing this one 1-0 as Duffy gets enough on it, finds a hole left side, bringing home Smith. And Tampa Bay wins it 1-0. Time now for Blue Jays Central. Back to the studio with Jamie and the guys.